The silence after her voice was worse than the shouting. Hundreds of faces stared at me on the all-hands screen. Little squares, blurred reactions. No one breathed. She stood at the podium. CFO, my wife, immaculate, eyes sharp with a satisfaction she didn't bother hiding. "You're off the project until you publicly apologize to my ex-husband," she said. I felt it then. Not anger, recognition. This wasn't about work. This was about ownership. I nodded once, slow, respectful. Okay. A ripple of discomfort moved through the room. She mistook it for my defeat. I watched her smile, small, victorious. She thought she'd finally broken me in public. That night, she didn't come home. At 2:11 a.m. my phone lit up, a single message from an unknown number. "You should have stayed quiet. You don't know who you're dealing with." I didn't reply. I already knew. I sat in the dark, the glow of my laptop reflecting off framed photos on the wall. Our wedding, her promotion, the first company retreat where people whispered, "power couple," like it was a warning. I opened the folder again, the one I'd been building for months. She thought today was my humiliation. It was just confirmation. I used to believe betrayal announced itself, a scream, a confession, lipstick on a collar. Instead, it whispered. It was the way her phone never left her hand anymore, the way she referred to her ex like unfinished business, the way his consulting contract kept getting renewed, quietly, despite failed deliverables. I told myself I was paranoid. I told myself love deserved trust. Then I saw the calendar invite she forgot to delete. Private, recurring, off-site, same hotel, same room. The realization didn't hit like a wave. It settled, heavy, certain. I remembered the night she'd come home smelling like someone else's cologne and blamed the elevator. The way she'd coached me before meetings, what to say, when to stay silent, control disguised as care. When I asked about the project delays, she kissed my forehead and said, "Let me handle it." That's when I understood. She wasn't protecting me, she was managing me. I didn't confront her, I optimized. Phone records came first, then expense reports. I traced shell vendors to his LLC, late-night transfers, private Slack channels with names like Legacy Sync. I smiled at dinner, asked about her day, listened. Inside, I cataloged everything. I ran timelines against board approvals, mapped decisions to personal gain, found the clause in my contract she'd quietly amended, making me personally liable for project compliance. She was setting me up as the fall guy. Every morning, I went to work on time. Every night, I worked later. The resignation letter sat unfinished on my desktop while I waited for one last thing: proof. When it came, it wasn't dramatic, just an email. Subject: Final opinion, conflict of interest. The attachment was 30 pages long. I read it twice, then once more, slowly. By the end, I felt nothing. That was when I knew I was ready. The next morning, she leaned against the doorframe of my office. "Learned your lesson?" she asked, smirking. I met her eyes, calm, empty. I did. I slid an envelope across the desk, my resignation, effective immediately. Her smile faltered. "You can't just quit." "I can," I said. "I already have." She laughed, sharp, dismissive. "You think this scares me?" That's when the company lawyer burst in, pale, sweating, shaking. "Ma'am," he said, breathless, "tell me you didn't." She turned to him, irritation flashing. "Didn't what?" He looked at me, then back at her. "Authorize the internal audit under his name." Silence. Her face drained of color as the pieces aligned. How I'd requested it, how compliance couldn't ignore it, how her ex-husband's invoices now screamed fraud. I stood, I already apologized, I said softly, just not publicly. The board meeting was brief. I didn't speak much. I didn't need to. The evidence spoke in clean, clinical language. Conflict of interest, embezzlement, abuse of authority. She cried, not for me, for herself. Her ex-husband was escorted out first, she followed later, eyes hollow, heels clicking too loudly on marble. She tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "I loved you," she whispered. I tilted my head. "I know. That's why this worked." I cleared my desk that afternoon. Photos went into the trash, memories too. I didn't feel victorious. I felt precise. Betrayal doesn't always deserve rage. Sometimes it deserves exposure. I walked out of the building without looking back, the weight I'd been carrying finally gone. She lost power. I lost illusions. Only one of those was permanent, and I've never felt lighter.